Friends. Good morning to all of you on a Saturday morning. We'll be starting sharp at 11 o'clock. I'm really excited about this Ask Sarabjeet session which we have launched, wherein I'm going to be answering all your questions related to job search and interviews. We'll just wait for another 30 seconds and we'll begin at 11 o'clock. Hi, good morning, friends. Hello. Hi, Anmol. Are you all able to see me and hear me? If you all are able to see me and hear me, give me a yes in the comments. Can you all write in the comments that you all can see me and hear me? For some reason, I'm not able to see the comments. All right. Hi, hi. Hi, Ratesh. Hi, my team members have joined in. Thank you for acknowledging that because I was not getting that. Thank you so much. So, it's extremely exciting for me to start this session, Ask Sarabjeet, which is a FB Live, where I will be doing a Q&A on all your job search and interview related questions. Any questions that you have which you find challenging, I thought it is best I answer them live in the next 30 minutes. So let me lay down some ground rules so that we can make the best of this session. What we will do is whoever has any question, I would request each one of you to please write question in capital and then put your question, because what's happening, comments keep coming up and I'm not in a position to identify whether it's a question or just a hi hello comment. So my request is please put down question in capital and then write down your question. That's how we will proceed. And for all you guys, some of you may know me, most of you might not know me. Let me introduce. I am Sarabjeet Sachar. I bring with me 35 years of experience in the media world, in pharma industry in the initial 17 years, after which I headed my recruitment agency for 15 years. And now for the past 6 years, I've been into job search and interview coaching. So this has been a mix of three transitions in my own career that I've done. And I thoroughly enjoy what I'm doing right now because that's where my heart lies, coaching people in terms of their job search and cracking interviews. That really gives me a high. So welcome to all of you. And we'll begin. I don't want to waste any time. Let's save on time. Let the first question start rolling, wherein you can just put up question in capital and write down the question below that. Ratesh, would you have any question? You can tell me, please. Yeah, Ratesh, can you hear me? Hi, Dinah, can you just put in a comment that can everybody hear? Because I'm not getting any comments. Okay, write down the question. Yes, fine. I want to take up real questions from you guys so that one can give you real practical solutions, which I always love doing. And if you guys have seen my videos, I always do that. And that's what we do at Aspiration Career Services. Cracking interviews, how do you write your resume, how do you write your LinkedIn profile, and how do you ensure that your pitch letter is attracting the recruiters. All right, so there is one question. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Let me tell you, this is a question which comes quite often. And this is a question where generally people would want to understand that what is it that you are actually good at. In this kind of an environment where it is so dynamic and things have been changing so fast, my advice is that there is no guarantee, frankly, that you can tell them something very concrete that this is something which you will achieve in 5 years. So the best way to answer that question, where do you see yourself 4 years or 5 years or even 3 years for that matter, is that things have changed so dramatically in the environment. I don't even know what will happen perhaps tomorrow. That means everything has become to be evaluated on short-term basis. So when that is the case, I know one thing for sure, that I will keep upgrading my skills, I will keep learning new things, I'll keep evolving. And biggest thing is, because of my learning and evolving attitude, I will keep contributing to the company. And today, whatever position I am in or whatever responsibility I'm handling, I will be handling much larger responsibility, and my contribution to the company would have gone up multifold. That's how you answer the question, because there's no stated answer that, okay, this is what will happen. Because today, every company is also having short-term goals. And because companies have short-term goals, you also got to, as an employee, ensure that you are aligned with those short-term goals. And it does mean that we have to adapt and we got to learn new skills. So that is how you answer that question. Okay, Ratesh has a question. What kind of salary hike can we expect from the organization where we are planning to join? Now, it will all depend upon, Ratesh, what is the kind of value you get to the table. See, salary is always an equation of value. So if you are in a position to find that connect, that means you are able to present your value in an interview situation, it is fantastic, because that should be your core area of focus. Salary is something which will come later. So there is a price value equation. First, demonstrate your value. That is more important. Once you are in a position to demonstrate your value, automatically the salary will come. So to answer your question that what kind of salary, first ask yourself, what is the kind of value I get to the table. So if you get a value which is very, very unique and you have skills and expertise which are bang on, you are able to demonstrate that your skills and expertise you can use. The employer will have no reason why not to pay you a salary which you expect. So you might be expecting 25 to 35% increase or whatever you have in mind. Keep in mind that it has to be your own value, for which you got to do a lot of research. Bring to the table what is the kind of business pain you can solve, what are your skills and expertise, and how you can demonstrate with success stories that you can solve their problem. Because we are all as solution providers. We are not candidates, we are not job seekers. We are only solution providers, and the employer is our client. That is how you got to look at it. So consider that okay, you are a business consultant going to make a pitch for your business, and what would the client pay you? It will depend on what value you get. So to answer your question, you got to do that. Rahul has asked, I work in the entertainment industry, but I've never got a chance to work in a big production house or corporate companies like Star, Netflix, Amazon, as mostly these are internal placements, or my CV never gets shortlisted. I never even get a reply. So, all right, the way to do it here would be, Rahul, you might be in the entertainment industry wanting to move to these Amazons and Netflix of the world. Do you do your homework on trying to find out what Netflix requires for that particular role? What happens is most of the people make the mistake of just wanting a wish list of a target employer company. And you realize that, okay, fine, this is the target employer company I need to apply, and start making applications. And you just don't do any homework. Most of the people don't do that homework. In fact, in our job search program or in our interview coaching program, I ensure that anybody who enrolls does a lot of homework. There are tools, there are approaches which we teach them as to how do you find out the pain point of that company and draw up a list of proper target employers. So in your case, Rahul, since you have your list of employer companies like Amazon, Netflix, what is it that Netflix is today doing? Try to do networking and first find that out. What is it that they're looking for? If you are in a particular role, in that role, what would it mean? What are the kind of skills they are looking at? And then demonstrate through a proper pitch letter. Once you have done your homework, then a pitch letter is devised mentioning clearly that this is the kind of pain and this is the kind of success story I have, which is matching exactly with what Netflix is wanting. You are bound to get that call. A simple cover letter, just sending the resume, making an online application is not going to get you the result. You have to change your approach. And that is what we do in much detail when we have our job search program or our interview coaching program. So your resume has to be written accordingly. Your pitch letter has to be written accordingly. One advice I would give to all of you: do not use cover letters. Use pitch letters. Cover letters are just simply general cover letters saying that, this is what my experience is. I've got so much of experience. I'm interested in this job and I have these kind of skills. It's all me, me, me. Doesn't work. Pitch letter is something which will talk about what the company's pain is. Start with that. Congratulate the company, find a connect, find something common with the company, and then demonstrate with 2, 3 success stories. That's how a pitch letter is developed. And then a pitch letter actually attracts the recruiter to open up your resume and call you for an interview. So without any homework, if you're making an application, you're not going to get any result. 100% you got to do a lot of homework. So that, I hope, answers that question. So Sumit's question is, due to the lockdown, I was self-employed. So how do I highlight that in my profile, online and job portals, as I don't want to divulge much information there? Secondly, as I'm looking for a senior profile now, but they benchmark salaries and experience from the pre-lockdown period, due to which initial screening also doesn't happen. So how to get through this initial further screenings? Now, before the lockdown, you were employed and then you got self-employed. Now you want to get back to the corporate. First of all, feel very proud of yourself. I would say that you are self-employed, because self-employment and being an entrepreneur is a huge experience which you get to the table. The kind of decisions you have to take, the kind of skills that you will develop, the kind of situations you will have to handle when you are on your own, the amount of confidence you get, irrespective of whether you are making. For me, the success of an entrepreneur is the learning of the results that you get. Only results. There's nothing like that, oh, I've made a great success out of my enterprise, but if it didn't succeed, you start feeling low. Don't do that. It's an experience. So maybe if it was for 1 year, it was for 2 years, you want to transit back into a corporate job, feel proud about it. Make a list of all the skills that you develop. See, payment collection, pitching for clients, managing everything. Overall, you become a kind of an overall business head when you are managing your own business. And that's a beautiful experience to bring to the table for the corporate. And that will be valued by the corporate. So first, your entire resume also has to mention the entrepreneurial experience. Do not shy away from that. There's nothing wrong in, it was the lockdown, it's fine. But you took that plunge and you actually made a bold move to have your own enterprise, and you delivered. Delivered in the sense you got results. What did you learn? And today, feel proudly that, okay, fine, I have decided that whatever learnings I have got in terms of being an entrepreneur, I want to get it back to the corporate. And that is why I'm very interested in the role. There also, you will have to ensure that you've done your homework on the role that you applied for, and you're finding a right kind of match of your skills and expertise, which actually ensure that there is a connect with the recruiter. So that is one. Second part of your question is that I'm looking for senior profile now, but they benchmark my salaries and experience from the pre-lockdown period, due to which the initial screening doesn't happen. So when it comes to the salary part, since you've taken a break, do not mention your salary at this stage while you're applying. First, make an application. First, produce your value, demonstrate your value, and keep the salary part open. In case you get shortlisted, at that point in time, start the discussion of the salary. So remember, do not start the salary discussion or mentioning your salary in your resume. That's a big mistake. Do not do that. You will get rejected. The application only won't come because they have not yet met you. So they will form a perception. We are all humans. They will all work with perception, saying that, okay, fine, this guy's salary was either low or high. And human mind starts making perceptions. And recruiting is a tough job. So they are so busy. So don't make that mistake of mentioning the salary either in your resume or anywhere at the beginning stage of an application. First, you got to demonstrate your value, reach that stage, and then be open to deciding whether, this kind of a corporate job after 2 years of maybe a break as an entrepreneur, you're wanting to come back. Is it worth it or no? Because it's going to get your career back into track. So if it is worth it, go ahead. It's absolutely fine. I hope I have answered your question, Sumit. I'm just taking up one question from everybody because that's how it is. Now, Shashikala Shetty is saying, working in an organization for more than 15 years, is it an advantage or a disadvantage to move over? Absolutely. It is an advantage. Don't worry about it. How you should do is every experience, if it is for 15 years, people might think that, oh my God, 15 years. It depends on what kind of value you get to the table. So, your 15 years in your resume, what you do, you break it down into different kinds of tenures, sub tenures, whenever you were handling different kind of responsibilities, the major ones. So, suppose in 15 years you were in one particular role, you would have definitely grown and handled something else. So make it like a sub tenure in your resume, and your 15 years should look with present different aspects of your exposure, what you handled as a responsibility throughout those 15 years. Present it like that. Similarly, you should do that even in an interview situation. So to get a call or not get a call just because of 15 years, don't think that that's wrong. In the sense you've dedicated 15 years, it is a huge amount of loyalty that you have reflected for the organization, which is fantastic. The only thing that happens in a perception is that one organization would it have given you different kinds of exposure. So in your resume, as I said, break it down into sub tenures. In fact, I was coaching somebody, he was in a company for 21 years. We did the same thing in his resume, broke it down into sub tenures. We had his headline written. Every tenure card designation was different. Below the designation, there was a description in short in terms of what he was handling at that particular tenure period. All those things, if you do in your resume, you are bound to get the result. Sumit has got a question. Due to the lockdown, okay, that is taken care of. Ratesh again, how do we answer the interview question where we have a certain gap in career due to the personal reason or a pandemic? So fine, if there is a gap, what did you do during the gap? So first of all, my advice is people who have a career gap, I would say that do not let the gap kind of demotivate you, number one. So before you apply, I would suggest that take up any freelance assignment. That is something which I would advise you. Take up any freelance assignment, because if you've got a gap for whatever be the reason, okay, if it's a health reason, unfortunately something has happened, untoward has happened, it's fine. In the sense that's real. We are all humans, right? So employers have to value us that way. If employers don't value us that way, then fine, that employer doesn't deserve you. Simple. But at the same time, if you have taken a gap which has been a conscious gap, what were you doing during the gap? Were you studying? Were you upgrading your skills? Were you actually giving some freelance project assignments? I know it's difficult. What happens is, even in your network of friends, my advice would be take up any assignment which is even pro bono. Don't worry about the money that you receive. Just take up any assignment and mention that experience, which is a freelance consulting assignment, into your resume. That is important, because if you do that, the gap will get absolutely filled up. And it also reflects very positive, in terms of an attitude, a very positive one, that you continue to upgrade your skills. Doesn't matter, you will have friends who will be running small businesses which are related to perhaps what you are doing. So help them in management, help them in your skills. If you are from maybe sales, marketing, finance, help them with those kind of skills, and try and see that maybe you are contributing as on a project based assignment somewhere. Whether you're getting money or you're not getting money is irrespective, but it is more important for the employer to see that you continue to hone your skills, and it reflects a very positive attitude. So you got to do that. Dominic is asking, sir, I have 15 years of mixed experience and held senior post in business development, admin, and team leader. But due to COVID situation, job market very tight. Companies are not ready to hire experienced person with high salary expectation. Please advise and suggestions where to focus, because I am now 53 years old. Fantastic question. 53-year-old, lot of experience. You know what you bring to the table, Dominic, is a lot of wisdom, maturity, and you've really fallen down many times and gotten up so many other times, which maybe the younger candidates don't have that advantage. So look at yourself as very proud. In the sense, feel proud that you are 53-year-old, you are experienced. But coming to the question that you're saying, again, we are perhaps making the mistake that perhaps you are bringing in the salary expectation at the beginning stage. Do not do that. The moment we will start bringing the salary in the beginning, it's like, you're going to a shop to buy something. First, you got to look at the product. If the salesman there starts telling you that, sir, this is a TV which is worth 1,25,000, you will automatically be very, very wary of that. First, he will have to explain to you about the features. So for that, you first need to build your value. I'm sure, Dominic, you are 53 years, you have had lot of achievements. All your achievements and your awards or your certificates or your recognition, everything has to be brought out in your resume very well. And similarly, you have to develop a pitch letter The pitch letter has to address the pain of that company and how you can actually attract the recruiter's attention by mentioning that pain, and then bring in your maturity, your wisdom, your experience, your depth, your richness. And as I again say, I love people who are at the age of 53 and who are wanting to find a job, because the value that you get of falling down and then getting up is much more than what a younger candidate will get. So there are companies who will value you with your, and you also got to understand what kind of companies to target. If you're going to target companies which have got a mandatory thing that, okay, fine, this is a young culture, we want to only take people only up to 35, don't target that company. It's fine. The world has got so many other target employers. So draw up a list of target employer companies and identify the target employer companies which will value you, and start doing your homework. And your approach in your resume also has to be, the professional profile has to be talking about your unique experience in terms of your maturity, wisdom, and experience, the depth of experience. That should be mentioned in your professional profile. That is something which we do regularly when we write the resumes for senior professionals. Bring out their professional profile and their uniqueness there. And that is how you start attracting. And then develop a pitch letter which will talk about your experience pertaining to that company. Make an application that way and use your networking route. But networking also not just to ask for a job. Use your network because you are senior to only understand what the pain of that company is, and then accordingly give them a solution. You will get results. Uh, Sumit has said, completely agree. Actually, I don't have any issue in divulging information, but corporates see this as negative way. And for salaries, I don't share initially, but corporates benchmark and even ask for the initial screening. Even if somebody is asking you in the initial screening, what you must mention is that you are absolutely open. Say that I bring this to the table in terms of my experience. This is what my area of expertise is. And I would love to actually have a discussion. Whatever is the salary in terms of the range, the industry, etc., you evaluate it accordingly, and let's have a discussion. Then you move on to the demonstrating of your value. That's how you'll have to handle it. Some of them, I understand, are not able to comment because of the streaming. Why is that? However, surely we'll connect on Facebook later. If there is any problem in terms of you making a comment because of this live streaming, I'm not sure about why that's happening. But we will certainly connect on Facebook, because I'm going to be doing this Ask Sarabjeet sessions regularly. Regularly. And so if it is going to be any question that is not answered, please do not worry. Next session, we are going to do it very soon. I will answer it that time. We'll do that. Okay, so let me take one question which has come, uh, where somebody said that I have been looking for a job. Now I have got one offer, and the person has resigned. And because the person has resigned, there is another company. He was applying for so many jobs. So one offer he got it. Now he got a call, and he's almost going to get an offer from the other company where he actually desires to join. So he asked me that what should I do? I mean, I've already accepted this offer, and there's another company. During my search, I found that they are wanting to approach me, and I'm almost kind of closing that offer. What to do? I said, see, first of all, my belief is that if you have accepted an offer somewhere, you got to stick with it. But because you are wanting to join that company and you are very keen, meet them. It's fine. Develop a relationship with them. They will respect you more, according to me. If it's a good employer, they will respect you more, because see, once you have signed, sealed, and you already resigned and you are on your notice period, and you're going to join that company, and there is another simultaneous offer that is coming from somebody else, I would not advise that you take up that offer, but develop that relationship. Because today you are in this company, maybe 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, you might require that employer. It's absolutely fine, but develop that relationship with them, because you've reached an interview stage where they're about to make you an offer. Next time when there is a vacancy, do not lose the opportunity to develop a relationship with the employer B, which is going to actually make you an offer. So the one which you have made an offer for, it's absolutely fine. There is another question which says that if I am on notice period and I'm appearing for an interview and I have resigned, should I mention that I'm on notice period? Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. I do believe what is there to shy that you are on notice period? Could be the reason, could be anything. I would say never talk negative about the company which you left. Never talk negative about the bosses individually. There could be management restructuring, there could be management challenges. It's fine. But at the same time, it's your call, it's your career. You didn't want to continue and you left. But should you mention that in an interview situation that you are on notice period? It's absolutely fine. But before that, you got to establish your value. And companies who say, okay, you are on notice period, hence you are less valuable, I think that company doesn't deserve you. Simple as that. There is no point, because what how does it make a difference if somebody is without a job or with a job? The value that you get to the, in fact, in our company, if I were to hire, I would hire anybody who brings value, irrespective whether the person is on job or no. The way to handle it would be that give them some references, and give references of, suppose you had maybe not good relationships with maybe your immediate boss, it's okay. Give references of your other ex bosses, your colleagues, or your clients, or your vendors, or your agencies, because ultimately the concern comes that why are you without a job? Is it that you are not a good candidate? Is it that they asked you to go? None of that is true. You are valuable. So focus only on the value that you are getting to the table. That is important. Let me see if there is any other, because surprisingly, people are not able to comment, is what I'm getting. All right. So there is one last question I get very commonly here, is that uh, if if I'm using LinkedIn, I do not get any response from the recruiters. That is something which most of the people, many people say, that I don't get any response. So what happens? The biggest mistake people make while sending connection requests is they keep sending connection requests, and in their anxiety, they start asking for a job. That is a big mistake. Do not do that. LinkedIn is a beautiful tool to network. It's an online branding platform. It's not an online resume. That's another mistake we should not make, because when we do that, in the sense, your about section, the way it is written, it has to be written very uniquely. It's unlike what is written in a resume. But your tenures will be the same as your resume. That's fine. But your headline of LinkedIn, or your uniqueness has to be brought out about in the about section. You have to upload your certificates, your awards, your whatever qualifications you have done. All these are opportunities to build your brand on LinkedIn, which is a big mistake which people make, that don't make use of LinkedIn, and they start networking and straight start asking for a job, and then they don't get a response. How can you ask for a job from somebody you do not know and you've not built your value? And today employers are using LinkedIn, and they are open. In our job search program and also in our interview coaching program, we see that people get results because we give them templates as to what is to be mentioned exactly when you're networking with the employers, because you're actually going to add value. So there is a certain approach that you got to take. You cannot suddenly ask for a job, and that is the reason why you don't get results. But LinkedIn is a very important tool. I would encourage everybody to use it, because through LinkedIn you can build your online brand presence. And today, gone are those days where it's only the resume. LinkedIn has become equally important, and along with that there is a pitch letter. So all these three things, your resume, LinkedIn, and pitch letter, have to be used, and your networking has to be done in a manner that you only add value. Then you will get a response. So we are at 11:27. Let me see if anybody else has been able to mention a question, because it's not coming in today. Okay, so there is one last question from Ritesh. As a career advice, what would you suggest for a person working in an ad agency in sales, working for 10 years, if he or she wants to switch into some other role? As having an MBA degree in marketing, we have been told to start with sales and then end up in marketing, but it can become really difficult to have this switch. Can you advise? Of course, it's a very good question. So whenever you're wanting to switch roles, in fact, I just did a video yesterday on this, that what you need to do is, if you're wanting to, let's say, wanting to move from sales to marketing, try and first transit into a role which is closer to marketing. So for example, if within the marketing area there is maybe you don't want to take up ATL, you could take up BTL part, maybe you could take up direct marketing part. All these are aspects. So break down that marketing function into different kinds of aspects. What are the kind of roles that are it entails when you're talking of a job function? If you're doing that, take up one part and see which is the one which relates to you. So don't look at it that I have to move from sales to marketing. Break down marketing into different aspects. Pick up one part and start transiting from there. So even if you are in an agency, there are many people who we have helped from sales and they moved into agency, advertising agency, into the brand kind of role. That means there is brand research role and they have understood the brand aspect and the communication aspect, and then they have transited into marketing. Because you look at what you need to do is break it down into what all marketing would entail. Don't look at everything, because then you have to zero in and focus your effort, your resume, your entire approach, your strategy has to be to target yourself to transit into marketing with that area of specialization. You are bound to get success, and you can use a lot of your transferable skills. In fact, in our job search program, we coach this a lot. We make a list of the transferable skills, ask them to rate how they are, and then start using those transferable skills in your communication while you're communicating with recruiters. So if you have a transferable skill, say for example, in your case, sales to marketing, transferable skills could be communication. Transferable skills could be understanding of brand. All these are skills which are transferable. So you move from sales to marketing, pitch yourself using these transferable skills, demonstrate your success stories. Depending on how you use these skills, you are bound to impress the interviewer. It is always possible. There's no question about it. We've been doing it huge amount of. In fact, today only I put up a post where somebody has just seen my videos and got a job. So these are all things which are possible. It's 11:30. Thank you very much. I am extremely delighted that all you guys spared time on a Saturday, and thank each one of you to have come. I promise you that Ask Sarabjeet is going to be a very regular affair, and I'm going to do it often. So please do not feel disappointed, because I can see that some of them are commenting, not able to comment. So those who could not comment, it's absolutely fine. We'll do it very soon. I'm going to have my next session. So till then, as they say, thank you very much. Take care. Shabba khair. Allah Malik. Bye. Thank you.